Well, good evening or good morning or good afternoon, wherever you might be watching this on the replay. Or for those of us that are here live, we're 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. And this is our Take Shape for Life University, where we get together and we're going through a chapter of Dr. A's Habits of Health every week. Tonight's chapter is chapter 17, and it covers the habit of healthy sleep. There's a lot more to sleep than you might think, and there's a lot more benefits to our health. Weight is one piece of it, our hormones, our energy levels, our body's ability to repair itself, and really all those things are rebuilt while our body is sleeping in that reconstruction mode in the evenings. And so tonight, like I said, it's chapter 17. So if you guys want to open up your Habits of Health books to page 211 in Dr. A's Habits of Health, we'll get right in. I'm going to start off with a little bit of just some comments that I thought stood out to me. And then I have about 6 different questions that I want to ask, and we'll kick those around to see who can help out with that. And then we'll do some general discussions. The first thing that I wanted that stood out to me in this chapter was on page 218. It talks about setting a healthy bedtime. And one of the interesting things about, you can do sort of an amateur or a non-official sleep study. And if you can go to bed at a certain time and then just wait until your body naturally wakes up, and then see how many hours that is, and do that over about 7 or 8 days, and you can kind of tell how many hours a night your body wants to sleep, and vary the time you go to bed as well, because sometimes your body will wake up when there's a certain amount of light in the morning, no matter when you went to bed. And so try going to bed at different times. But I liked at the bottom of page 218, it says, you'll know you've hit it right when you wake up just before the alarm clock goes off. And I find that I have an alarm set occasionally. One of the luxuries of being a health coach is that we get to set when our day starts. And I usually don't have my day start at 7 o'clock, or it usually starts at 9. And so I usually wake up around 6:30 normally. So that was one of the things that I thought was really interesting. And then the other piece that I thought was interesting is the whole idea of a sleep cycle, and how long it takes to go through all 5 stages of sleep, and how many times we do that a night. And one of the interesting things is that if you get woken up before you get through a complete sleep cycle, you miss the REM sleep, which is kind of the sweet spot where our bodies will slowly fall apart, if you will, if you don't get that consistent REM sleep. So a couple questions here. What we'll do is, for those of you that know how to use the raise your hand function. So go down to the bottom of your Zoom window and click on participants, and then you'll see a little option there that says raise hand. And so it doesn't look like anybody's on an iPhone. Oh, Kathy's on an iPhone. So Kathy, you might just be able to raise your hand if you got it. Yeah, why don't you all test it out right now? Everybody go and try out raising their hands. Yeah, Kathy nailed it. That's great. Perfect. Okay, Vivian, you figured it out? Did you do it already? So down at the bottom of your screen where it says participants, and then you'll see a section where you can raise your hand. Yep. Looks like you guys are all getting it. And so actually, you know what? So you guys are doing swimmingly well with that. But before we go into the questions, I see a couple of new faces here that I'd like to introduce. The first one, Carol here. I'll unmute you, Carol. Carol, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
You can. So who invited you to the Healthy Huddle?
Kathy.
Kathy Ladd, I assume.
Yes,
awesome.
correct.
And how do you know Kathy?
She's my coach.
Yeah, I figured as much. Yeah, that's great. Well, welcome to the huddle. I hope it's nice to meet you. And so just so you know, here's the way the healthy family tree works. So Kathy and Martin might have to help me, but Kathy's your coach. Well, Kathy has a coach, and is Martin? Are you direct? Yeah. So it goes Carol, Kathy, Martin,
Correct.
and then me, essentially. Yeah. A couple of the people in there, but they're not on tonight. But so we all have these family trees of healthy people where we've inspired somebody else by our own journey, and they decided they wanted to do it. And so I love when we get to meet sort of our grandpas and great grandpas. So where are you from, Carol?
Olympia.
Olympia. Okay. Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we're so glad. When did you start your program?
7 weeks ago.
7 weeks. And what's been something that's been the most profound to you, or that you're most excited about?
The weight loss.
Okay. How much have you lost?
17.
17 pounds. Wow. Congratulations. Yeah. Awesome. Well, we're sure glad to have you tonight. Welcome. Yeah, Kathy, go ahead.
What's so exciting is I got a text from Carol this morning that she went below a milestone, and I think it's a fabulous milestone. So congratulations, Carol.
Yeah. Carol, what was that milestone, just so we all can share in that?
Under 200.
Under 200. Okay. So I thought that was what it was going to be. And we call that when you step on the scale and the first digit is a 1, we call that Wonderland. You've now reached Wonderland. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. And so Callie's on as well. I'm not sure Callie can hear us. Let's see here. I sent her a text message. Let me see if I can find her here. Let's see. All right, so we'll see if that works out. Anybody else that's on for the first time, if you can wave at me, we'd love to introduce you. Looks like everybody else I've seen. Carol, looks like, I don't know if you've been on here before. I know I've talked to you before. Dawn and Carol. I'll unmute you.
Hi, Greg.
Hi, guys. Good to see you both. Have you been on before, Carol? You have, yeah. I thought you had. Well, welcome. Good to see you back. All right. Well, let's see. I think that covers everything. Oh, this little dog in the background. What's your little dog's name?
Oh, that's Pete.
Pete.
That's Pete. Yeah.
Welcome to the huddle, Pete.
And we've got Chirpa laying down here on the floor listening to everything that's going on also.
Yeah. Well, I've got my, when he's so dark you can't even see him. There's my little,
Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
my little poodle. What are you doing, buddy? Huh? You're on TV. That's my little healthy mascot that hangs out with me all day. Okay, so
Chirpa.
Here's
oh,
our
there
other.
we go. Oh man, look at that. I love these. I love this stuff. Good to see you guys. So so I've got so get ready with your raise your hand. And the first question, let's make sure nobody's hands are raised yet. Good. The first question is, what is a chronotype? You have to raise your hand on the screen, Mary. Okay, Mary, you're first. You nailed it. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Oh, I'll get you. There you go.
Okay, good. I'm over here talking. I can't function. Sorry.
Yep.
Hi, best friend Betsy. Anyway, Chronotype is on page 217 at the bottom, and it's whether you're a early bird like me or a night owl like Betsy. I'm kidding. She's an early bird. But like anyone else on there. But
What do they call the two? They call it a night owl, and what was the other one?
a lark.
A lark. Yep.
Or larks.
Yep. Early bird is probably more of a common one, but he said larkin thing. Yep, exactly. And so do you guys all know whether you're a morning person or an evening person? Yeah, because it makes a difference. And there's a reason why, and it's covered in this chapter. When I was reading this the first time, I was thinking it's all about how well your body processes the melatonin or how quickly it dissipates. Some people, it dissipates very slowly, and so they wake up slower. And some people, it dissipates very quickly, and they can wake up quite quickly.
And your body temperature.
And body temperature, yep. Excellent. All right. So, Eileen, let's see. You raised your hand here. Did you have a comment, or did you just?
I have a question.
Oh, question. Go for it.
Is it possible to be both? A morning and an evening?
Good question.
It says right there that you, most people aren't wholly one or the other, but somewhere in between.
Okay.
If most of your sleep occurs at the wrong time of day for your chronotype, it's harder to get the rest you need. So like Craig said, you should adjust it between, do a little sleep study on yourself, figure it out. If you like to get up at 4:30 and go to the gym by 5, then you're a lark. We'll just make it easy. And I'll see you there.
Yeah. All right. So next question, if you guys are ready on your buttons. Oh, Barb, did you have something?
Well, the only other thing that and I know this from experience, I have someone who is extremely light sensitive. So this is a hard time of year for my daughter because you put her in a dark room and she will go to sleep. But at first light, she's up and awake. So she really is, whatever it is, your sensitivity to light can really affect your sleep cycle. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, that's good.
So you could be a lark or a night owl, depending upon, the way the sun moves around.
Well, and that's because it directly goes to your pineal gland, which is probably Craig's next question.
Yes. Pineal gland. I thought it was pituitary. Pineal. I'm going to start saying that from now on.
Whatever.
Was it pineal or pituitary? I don't know.
No, it's not. Pituitary is your growth.
Growth. So it's pineal then. It's just your light sensor. I know it's right there. So here, you guys ready? I was thinking of a goods. You guys can probably, one of you guys take and market this, but you have a pair of glasses or a piece of tape. I wonder if you just took a piece of like duct tape and stuck it over there, if that would help you go to sleep better. I don't know.
You have a rash, but you sleep longer.
Yeah. You said, the rash would be a problem. Okay. So why are naps more than 5 minutes not recommended? Raise your hand. Okay, Mary. Well,
I don't want to be the only one talking.
Barbara's in there. Martin, Vivian. So we're going to go Martin on this one.
Yeah.
I just raised my hand so Mary couldn't talk.
Okay, Barbara actually was number first in the chain of command. So, Barb, you're up. Oh, let me unmute you.
Okay.
There you go.
Because it does disrupt your sleep cycle. You nap and it really does affect the way the rest of your quote unquote good sleep is.
Mm-hmm.
So
Because of your melatonin.
yeah. So napping is anything more than that quote unquote power nap of 5 minutes really can affect how you sleep when you really need to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one of the things for me, I can lay down and do 20 minutes. My sweet spot is that 20 minutes. But if I go for like an hour or any more than 20 minutes, I immediately can tell I wake up kind of like, I don't even feel rested. But that 20-minute spot for me is about the limit, 0 to 20. Ultimately, I want to be tired in the evening.
Yeah.
And so I go to sleep and then I get a good night's sleep. So, all right. So, Eileen, yes, good job raising all your hands. Look at you guys, you're champions.
I have a question. So, what, you said, what if, when I used to work, I would sometimes I thought it was a power nap. I take a nap for like 50 break. And I felt so much better after those 15 minutes. It was like, it gave me another burst of energy. It really helped me.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So I would figure out what is for you. The main thing I think is whether it's 5, 15 or 20 is if you're sleeping for an hour, you're probably not helping yourself sleep better at night, and you'll be almost like sabotaging a good night's sleep, which is what you're actually trying to get. So that's the takeaway from that. And Dr. A talks about this a little bit more in the chapter here, so you can read this. Believe it or not, this chapter, I get really great sleep, but this chapter I had more highlighted, and I say this every time, more highlighted in this chapter than I did in any other chapter of the book. And it's probably because there was so many things I didn't know about sleep. So it was super helpful. Okay, so it is the pineal gland. I just found it. It's perhaps you heard of the phrase, the third eye. This actually refers to the pineal gland, a pea-sized organ located in the center of the brain just behind the eyes, which has the ability to sense light. In fact, it is the only endocrine organ to have direct access to the outside world. Dun, dun, dun! You guys are amazing. So, question number 3. Name one healthy sleep strategy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There was 7 of. Oh, who did it first? It looks like Eileen was first. So Eileen, go for it.
Brush your teeth, and what was it? I think it was half an hour before you go to bed, and make sure that it's kind of like dark, not real light.
Yep.
Right.
All right. So lightness is one of those. Yes. Let's see who was next. Betsy and Les. You know what? It looks like it's not doing this in order of how you raised your hand. It's going alphabetical. Or you guys all raised your hands alphabetically. Dang it.
I knew I wasn't the first one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Betsy and Les, jump in next. Oh, let's see here. Oh, you're not. Let's see here. Here you go. You should be able to be alive now.
Okay.
Yep.
There we go.
Can you hear us?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 shots of Maker's Mark.
No. No.
That's a great strategy.
No. I hide the Maker's Mark and I turn down the temperature in the room.
Okay, those are, yep. It actually says no alcohol 90 minutes before bed is one of the habits of healthy sleep, and temperature, that's another one. Yep, great job. And let's see here, Debbie. Go ahead, Debbie.
Covering your eyes, putting something for earplugs or something that the little masks.
Yep.
Those things will help if you're really sensitive. You need to sleep a little longer if you work it, later at night, a weird shift.
Yeah, we've got the blackout curtains with the blinds behind it, and my wife also wears a mask and earplugs every night. I mean, like she's like, if anything happens to the house, I'll have to hear it because she's.
I'm one of those people that if I see that it's light outside, I won't sleep in, and I get up at 5 a.m. and so sometimes I want to sleep in just till like maybe 7. So I'll put one of those on and I'll fall asleep for another hour, and it's just perfect. And I get like 8 hours instead of just 7 hours of sleep. It's nice.
Isn't it like Christmas when you wake up and you're supposed to get up at like 6 and you've woken up at 5, and it's like, I've got a whole luxurious hour left. Isn't that amazing when that happens? It seems like you close your eyes and the hour goes by though that quickly, but yep. Okay. So Yeah, exactly.
I'll take
Kim.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Kim, you had something.
Yeah. I think like the club, they listed clutter in the book, but also just, I think of clutter in my mind. There's times when I have trouble sleeping because of the things I have to do the next day or that kind of thing, and just kind of taking care of those lists, at least writing them down so you don't have to hold on to them in your brain.
Yeah, that's a huge one. If you guys do, some people have an active mind and they just got a lot going on. And for me, having a notepad by my nightstand, because I try not to keep my phone. Actually, I don't try. I have lately been leaving my phone at my desk downstairs. It's been a couple weeks. I talked about this on our call. And it's been very different because I'm not on the phone right before I go to bed. I don't basically kiss Facebook good night and good morning, right? Because it's not close by. But so having a notepad, once I'm able to get them from my brain onto a piece of paper, my mind just goes, because I know I'm not going to forget it because I wrote it down. So if your mind is racing about the to-dos that you're trying to maintain, get out the old piece of paper and pencil. It's been around for years, and literally give your brain a time to not have to manage that because you wrote it down. All you have to do is remember one thing: pick up your list, right? Because if you write it down and you don't look at your list, that's my problem. Then the list didn't do me any good. But okay, so that's good. So there was a couple more. There was 2 more that were on there. Actually, 3 more on the setting up it's called In the Evening on page 219. And it looks like Vivian and Martin both have their hands, and Kathy. So Vivian, you're up. You got something for us?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep, hear you loud and clear.
Good.
Can't see you very well, but I can hear you.
Yeah, it's definitely, clutter also has to do with the room itself, what goes on there.
Mm-hmm.
And if, like right now, I'm at my parents' house. So there's like a computer in the room. There are pictures all over the walls. My bed is facing the wrong direction, and I have problems sleeping.
Got it. So so clutter in your room. Got it.
Where if it's my room, I've got a bed, a nightstand, and there's a big mural on the wall that my brother painted, and that's it.
No TV. Yeah. Got it. Those are great. Yeah. So cleaning up clutter, that's another good one. Kathy, you had something.
Well, we keep our temperature in our bedroom way down.
Mm-hmm. What do you set? What's a sweet spot for you?
Turn it off.
Oh.
Even in the winter.
Mm.
If it's in the 30s, sometimes we'll turn it up just to like 5 because it's got like 4 through 8.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep the ice. Keep the ice down.
Yeah. Yeah. We actually use air conditioning in the evenings. Our house has one of those thermostats that you can do AC or heat. And so we have ours set to take it down to 66, even in the winter. Of course, it doesn't have to work very hard in the winter to get there. The summer it does. And then it'll kick on at 62.
Or a fan going.
Say that again?
Fan going
fan?
during the summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Betsy, I think, Betsy, you have one of these. Betsy and Les, you have, will you tell us about the magic that you have in your guys' bed? Did I say magic in their bed? Did I really just say that? Oh, look at that, guys. Well, let me unmute you here. Go ahead. You're good.
We have something called a chill pad, and it's really awesome. We both have our own side of the bed with the chill pad, and it actually is like an air conditioner, and it runs cool water through a mattress pad underneath each of our positions where we sleep. And so we can have it at different temperatures. There it is. And it's made all the difference in our sleep. And the benefit for us is we don't have to keep the room as cold as we used to. So we do save on energy as far as air conditioning and things like that. We don't have that false air blowing on us all the time. We just have the chill pads, and it's made a huge difference in our lives. We get great sleep, and we both can adjust our own independently. And it's different than a heating pad because it keeps your body at a colder temperature, you know, where you're not a heating pad. I was thinking of a heating blanket. Those really aren't good because it doesn't allow your body to produce the heat that it needs. So we highly recommend it.
Yeah, that's great. Good stuff. I've seen, Betsy and I have talked about this quite a bit. And there's another unit that actually blows cold air. I don't know if it's like high volume, but it has an air, whereas this one circulates cold water underneath you. This one kind of blows it above you. And so I've seen a couple of these out there. We bought one of the far infrared blankets, and we haven't given enough chance for it to work, but because it seemed to just keep us too warm. And we've got a Tempur-Pedic mattress, and so that has some warmth to it as well. It's the new version. It's supposed to be cooler, and it's way better than the old version. But temperature is definitely something that
I can talk about the far infrared blanket. The first couple of nights, I definitely was a little bit warmer. But what I noticed was within a couple minutes of going to bed, I was at the right temperature. So I didn't have to heat up the bed. It was just like you get in there and you're automatically at the right temperature and you stay there.
Got it.
So it took a few nights to get acclimated to that, but it's been awesome.
Yeah, my wife just told me it's been sitting in a corner, and my wife just said that our current comforter's getting old, and so she's going to buy a duvet and then put the far infrared blanket inside of there and try that. So I'll let you know more about that in the future. But Don, you had a comment.
Yeah, just wanted to say, let's see. Yeah, I am unmuted. Okay. Just wanted to say that you mentioned Tempur-Pedic, and we have the Tempur-Pedic pillows, which are also very cool to lay on. There's kind of a cool side and a warm side.
Yeah.
And you flip it over to the cool side, and you know you're laying your head on something that's nice and cool. So I think it mentally puts you in a chilled state, you know?
Yeah.
And I did notice when we first got those, I slept much better with them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it works.
Yeah, good. Thanks for offering that, sharing that with us, Mary.
Okay, so I was like, huh?
You had your hand up, so.
I know, but it's been so long. I'm pretty impressed that I can remember at 7 p.m. My meds are all wore off and everything. Well done, Mary. Anyway, resolve your family problems. Tell your husband whatever. I forgive you till the morning, but then it's on. I got to go to sleep now. Something.
Yep. Yeah. Don't go to bed to sleep mad. Another one they said is don't exercise within 2 hours of bedtime.
That's right.
Then limit your cell phone use and liquid intake. So those were a couple of ones on page 219 there. You know, if you have a problem if your bladder is more excitable and doesn't hold as much or whatever, you have to go to the bathroom a lot. If you try to start your drinking day early and end it, around 6. And that way you won't have to get up so much during the night, because that can interrupt your sleep as well. So I had a few more. You guys are doing such a great time. We're right up at the top of the hour, but there are elements of sleep environment and that Dr. A talks about, which was color. There was a number of them in here. Color, light, smells.
Aromatherapy.
Yep. We talked about your bed. We talked about temperature. We talked about ventilation and color. So all those you guys covered really nicely. And what's really interesting is that if you just did the temperature, it probably would have some effect, but it may not have all the effect necessary to get good sleep. And so if you did light and temperature, that's probably going to make, and so if you really have a hard time sleeping, work on incorporating these and stacking them on each other. And I think eventually when you stack enough, you'll start to get better with your sleep. Betsy, you had something. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm not sure if Dr. Anderson talks about it in his habit of sleep or not, but it's a great practice anytime during the day or night. And that is the deep breathing that he's been talking about so much and has been on so many of the calls lately. And that makes a huge difference in getting your body to relax and getting the oxygen to your organs before you do go to sleep. That 8 to 10 really good slow belly breathing makes just an amazing difference. I don't think I even get to the 10 before I'm out. So if you are having trouble bringing your brain and your body down a little bit, try the deep breathing because it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, there is a .calm.com. There is a website. It's called Calm. So calm.com. And there's also a app for it that I'm putting in the link in the chat window, and it's a free program that'll give you a little guided breathing. It's some nice music, a neat little calm picture, and like if you want, it'll remind you, hey, would you like to take 5 minutes of calm? And you can click on it and just take a little time out during the day, and it's pretty cool actually the way that works. Did you have something else, Betsy? I noticed your hand was okay. I just didn't put your hand down. So another thing is the 4 sleep stages. How long are the sleep cycles? Did anybody figure out how long is one full cycle of sleep? Yeah, there's 4 of them. Mm-hmm. Well, stage 5 is REM. The key to it is it takes 90 minutes to go from stage 1 all the way through REM sleep. And so if you're waking up like every hour, you're starting over at stage 1. You don't jump back in where you left off. You start back over at the beginning. And so you want to make sure that you get at least 90 minutes of sleep in a long section. And so if you have problems with bladder and you're getting up every hour, that's one of the crazy things to have in a newborn. I mean, I thought I was literally like a zombie. Like, I don't know. I was losing my mind when I had our first baby. And because it was 3 months where I wasn't getting the 90 minutes or a good night's sleep. And I was always waking up with our new baby to feed him and to be with my wife. And literally at the end I remember when he started sleeping at 3 months, all of a sudden my life became livable again. Like it was a night and day difference at that 3 month mark. And it was just because I was sleep deprived for 3 months. And it was unbearable actually. So, well, thank you guys. That was a ton. That was so much more fun than reading this book by myself, but all your guys' participation and the fact that you read it and you knew something about this coming into it allowed us to have just an awesome discussion. And so next week is going to be chapter 16. And chapter 16 is Dr. A's Habits of Motion, part 2. It's kind of interesting. We're reading part 2 before part 1 because we're going in reverse order. And I'd like to do something different this week. I'd like to have 2 of you basically tag team it next week. And so we'll have one person that will have kind of some content, some highlights, and another person will come up with like 5 or 6 questions about to quiz the team, the gang, and then I'll be here too. But I'd like to share some of the responsibility and have you guys. Does anybody want to volunteer to sort of lead us through chapter 16 next week? Vivian has raised her hand. Yes, Vivian. So you'd like to be one of the people that works through chapter 16?
I'd like to do questions.
Questions. Okay, Vivian's got questions. So we need somebody else to take us through sort of kind of an intro and some highlights and maybe facilitate some discussion.
And 16 has some really good stuff in it.
Yeah. So someone want to partner? Debbie. Yeah. All right. So Debbie and Vivian. Okay.
So I do the highlights. Okay.
Yeah, you just do the highlights. Pull out some 2 or 3 things. Like if you were to condense the chapter down into 3 main points or 3 main sections.
Okay.
Share with us. And then Vivian will take us through the questions. And then you and her both will help kind of facilitate, like I asked a question, then we had commentary and some other stuff. And so you guys will kind of, so I'll be here too. But that way we can share and have a little more ownership over it. And then we'll do the same thing for chapter 15. And so be thinking about that. That'll be part 1 of, it's the non-exercise activities. So be thinking about that for next week for you to volunteer for that. And that is actually going to conclude our chapter 17 on the habits of healthy sleep. So thanks, everybody.